Good morning and welcome to the morning call for Friday the 20th of January 2017. Fairly flat night over in the US, not surprisingly considering that Donald Trump's inauguration is very, very close. On that, they did close down ever so slightly, about 0.3 of 1% across the two big indices there. It is actually the worst trading sessions now, 5 days in a row that we've seen the US markets down since Trump was elected president back on November 8th. So something that's quite interesting there. In saying that, earnings season is also rolling on in the US. The two majors to really look at, IBM beat expectations on the EPS line at $5.08. However, Amex, which is one I actually really quite like to look at considering it's a really good consumer confidence, came in under expectations. Take that as you will. Today, for an Australian-centric point of view and an Asian-centric point of view, you can't go past China. Their GDP figure is out. There is an unspecified time, so unfortunately I can't give you exactly when it will be out. Expectations are for year-on-year growth to be at 6.7%, quarter-on-quarter 1.7%. That 6.7% is basically locked in. At Davos this week, President Xi Jinping basically already told us that that's the case. So don't expect too much movement on the dial, and unfortunately you won't really get a good understanding of the data itself until they release it next week. So maybe today's GDP figure might not be as large as it normally is. Other thing to be aware of, they are likely to also announce their expectation for 2017. And again, looking at what Xi Jinping said in Davos, it's likely to be around 6.5%. Again, that may be seen as a slight negative. We will wait and see how the market reacts. On another front, I think I need to really highlight what's going on in natural gas, so that's why I've got it up on the screen behind me. Did decline, as you can see, by 1.7%. Oil stabilised overnight, still down for the week, but it did stabilise. But natural gas is one that we are heavily exposed to, and you have seen some news from Woodside with their production numbers yesterday, and there is also talk that they're now backing away from M&A, and that may also just add a little bit more pressure into that space. Energy's been an incredible performer since what happened with OPEC and their agreement around oil, so just be aware of that, what's going on behind me around natural gas. That is a big factor on major parts of our energy sector and something to watch. I also want to really highlight what's going on in gold. Despite the volatility going into Donald Trump's inauguration, gold cannot break above 12.05. Last night it had every reason to do so and didn't, and that's also something to be aware of. So you can see it's trying to get through it, sitting at 12.04.8. but didn't even actually manage to get even close to that. The highest it got up to was spot 94. So also something to look at and very, very closely. Across the other parts of the bulks, iron ore was down, aluminium was also down, along with copper. So it might be a negative day. And that brings me to the ASX. Having a look, SPI futures were down overnight, and our cash market in the 24 hours out of hours did decline about 18 points. We look like opening down around that price as well, as we do gear up to what will be a very, very interesting weekend. Donald Trump's inauguration speech from an Australian Eastern centric point of view is at around about 4:30, 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. It is all about the currency and what happens to the US dollar and what he announced that he will do in the first 100 days of his presidency. So big risk day. Expect very much not a huge amount of trading for that reason. And it will be a very, very interesting week next week as we start our earnings season in earnest on Tuesday.